Hello class of AEP 800. This is Module 5, Barriers to Web 2.0 with Nelson Rush. Barriers to using Web 2.0 in the 21st century in schools. We know that changes to Web 2.0 brought out a lot of online activities and services extending beyond the classroom in state and national communities to affect users around the world. Many schools embrace this, and the advance of technology and resources can be seen all over with good success. However, according to eSchools News, instruction incorporating Web 2.0 technologies helps schools develop skills, but the number of schools doing so are in the minority. Some reasons for this could be lack of time, lack of training for teachers or educators, lack of tech support, or even lack of administrative support. And there could be an overall school culture, maybe one that does not support technology, maybe one that feels like they're a little bit disconnected from that and don't have the ability to do so, so there's not much aspiration there. However, not all schools are comparatively equipped, despite large expenditures that do happen among the country. Some solution to this could be prioritizing time, if we're addressing that time issue, creating schedules and tasks that help utilize this technology. In thinking about training for staff and for students, there's tons of free professional development opportunities and trainings. For the administrative standpoint, there needs to be an ongoing dialogue created by teachers in the administration to address issues like this and kind of find the gaps. And then joining building groups. I think one of the most important things to solving issues is working collaboratively with teams. So forming these teams to really help bring resources and people together could be a really good solution to bringing Web 2.0 into more classrooms and more schools. 7 common barriers that obstruct tech adoption in education. Technology has changed the way that education really is thought about. And has been replacing old systems of education. So we have this idea of a brick and mortar school where students sit in desks and face a teacher who lectures, but now we have different classroom opportunities such as blended learning models. Trying to integrate new technology leans against these decades-old practices, and it can be difficult. So most educators do struggle with some things. In fact, these 7 things have been identified as lack of vision, changing a teacher's role, considering the achievement gap, figuring out how to scale innovations, lack of money or investment is a big one. Thinking beyond textbooks, sometimes people in education get really focused on utilizing textbooks in the classroom as part of driving curriculum. And then, of course, having a strong infrastructure. So that's something that we don't always have control over as a school. Because this might extend outside the building. However, we can overcome these obstacles by thinking differently about our relationship between technology and thinking about new ways to incorporate innovative ideas and how education should be done. So is it the best model to have students sitting in rows facing the teacher who lectures? Or for our particular school, is it the best model to incorporate any services and any resources that we can, which those might include digital technologies? The digital divide is a really big issue and a really contentious issue. Even though America is considered a very digital country, there are still many schools, many areas, and many groups of people that are living with low internet and low digital functioning. In fact, less than half of the households living under 20,000 per year are actually connected to the internet, which does create this big divide. Often between the haves and the have-nots. When that translates into schools, that means students and the staff don't have enough internet access to incorporate new innovative strategies and also do basic functionings. And this puts us at a disadvantage. One possible solution to this, as suggested by Vic, would be companies sharing communication like hubs and points. So when they put in polls, the companies could share those. While cabling is being laid down, we could also treat internet and communications as part of the necessaries that go along with electricity and water. And of course, building competition, helping to drive down the price of new technologies. Overall, there isn't one solution, but working together and blending solutions together creates progress, and that's what's needed, progress towards a solution. Open educational resources is a really cool thing popping up for schools in the last decade. Basically, a large number of organizations and state and local educational agencies have kind of opening licenses. So this kind of fulfills a lot of those roles for resources for schools that normally had to subscribe or pay towards limited licensing and resources now have more open and available opportunity for those features. Such resources do help us to build banks of knowledge in our school. They help us drive curriculum. They create greater collaboration when people are able to share things more. And it helps generate new innovative thinking, not just for the students who are using those resources, but the staff who is able to explore those resources for education and drive the pedagogy further. Do I personally feel like the education or the digital divide can be resolved? In the short term, probably not, but in the long term, yes. The digital divide can be resolved with savvy lawmaking, greater public demand, and a focus for how resources should be viewed. Like I said before, maybe they should be viewed as compulsory along with the necessities of water and electricity. The skill sets that a 21st century graduate might need. Students of the 21st century should demonstrate a whole range of knowledge and capabilities. Some of the most important would be creativity, innovation, social skills, flexibility, leadership, self-direction, digital competency, of course. Basically, you have individuals who are going to be entering a digital marketplace, a competitive marketplace where they're going to need strong social skills that are driven beyond interactions with things like Facebook. And they need greater digital competency because they might need to interact with individuals all around the world, and digital means are the way that might happen. As far as the impact of the global economy on my personal use of the internet, if we look at this class, for example, the internet has brought together individuals from around the world and blended the economies, the understandings, and the interactions of people globally for this class. Right now I'm in the Middle East as an administrator, but I'm taking a course in the United States. We're all sharing ideas and thinking of ideas together. So actually, the internet kind of drives my daily life. I use it not only professionally, but also in my my household. It's a part of the way that we get knowledge these days, the way that we do simple tasks such as banking, or even in the States, people have begun to use the internet as a way to get even groceries. Technology training for myself, that might help me be more effective. Overall, it would really be helpful for me in my current position to develop a broader range of data collection tools or resources in regards to student behavior and functioning. That's my role right now as a dean of students, is to monitor, track, understand, and resolve student behaviors. And so a greater ability for me to do that with resources would be helpful. Right now I have to create a lot of my own. Is my school district equipped with 21st century technology? I think most of us would be answering yes and no simultaneously. In regards to the fact that my school does have Chromebooks, the students do have internet access, and there is kind of that quote-unquote cloud that hovers over the entire district. Yeah, we have 21st century technology. However, a lot of the hardware that we have has become outdated or run down. The network functioning is very frustrating. We lose network functioning. It's spotty. It makes it very difficult for us as a district to run a continuous operation without dealing with frequent crashes. For the students, they have the same issues when we try to blend in those technological resources. oftentimes we have to anticipate the fact that they're going to fail. The internet will cut out and we don't know when they'll come back. So it does make it very difficult to meet some even very simple or basic 21st century needs. Some advantages of innovative practices in school: new ways of thinking, new ways of utilizing technology, new programs, creating initiatives, and greater problem-solving skills and greater problem-solving in learning. Some disadvantages I see: technology comes with high costs. Technology is very slow to roll out. Sometimes when it rolls out, it's now outdated by the time it's able to reach its final destination. It does divert funding, so getting a hold of new technologies for schools might mean cutting another budget somewhere else, or losing a resource somewhere else. And of course, technology always requires additional professional development, which may be hard for some schools to acquire. In regards to the experience with cyberbullying or inappropriate internet use for students, I think cyberbullying and other such conduct is a universal issue that all schools have to deal with, especially now with most schools trying to blend in technology in some way, shape, or form, or even the fact that students now have the availability to bring personal handheld devices. Phones are essentially small computers. Many of them come with internet access that the families are providing. The school doesn't have control over, but when the students bring that into school, it now becomes a school issue. So even beyond the walls of the school, these issues can kind of percolate into the educational environment. As students become more savvy, though, I think it's important that educators become just as savvy. Thank you for taking the time to view my presentation. I look forward to seeing the rest of your presentations. Thank you very much.